Hello everyone, welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. Well, this is not my weekly one, this is my 20th anniversary celebration Facebook Live. This is a 4-week series that I am doing in March to help celebrate my 20th anniversary with Stampin' Up. Today, we are going to make an amazing card. This card features our brand new Rhino Ready Bundle, which is in part of our online exclusives. And this card is pretty spectacular. I'm going to show you more about this card in just a second. My 20th anniversary series is going to focus all on amazing cards, some pop-up cards, some kind of over-the-top cards, very, very fun cards. So we're going to get to that in just a minute. Before we do, I just want to remind you guys of a couple of things. Now, we're using the Rhino Ready Bundle, which is part of the online exclusive products. These are only available, of course, online. As the name hints, they are available in my online store, and you won't find them in a publication. Stampin' Up! Is going to release some online exclusives throughout the year, 3 times a year, I think, 3 or 4 times a year. And some of the products, they're going to restock if they sell out. Some of them they won't. So if you love those products, you might want to stock up on them while you can. I'm going to grab one more paper. Because it's my 20th anniversary, if you shop my online store this month, I am giving away $50 shopping sprees. Every time I fill up a chart, I'm going to pull a number and give away a shopping spree for $50. So as you place your orders with me, I'm filling up other charts. This is not the one that I don't want to publicize everybody's names, but as the charts fill up, I'm drawing names, and those people are winning shopping sprees with me. So it's just a way to help me celebrate 20 years as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have enjoyed 20 years, and I want to help celebrate that with you guys. All right, now if you are shopping my online store, make sure that you are taking a quick look at your colors, your cardstocks, your ink pads, your re-inkers, your Stampin' Blends, your markers, all of those things, because we are nearing a color refresh. Stampin' Up! Has announced that coming in our new catalog in May, there will be a color refresh. Now, at this point, we do not know which colors are leaving. We do not know what colors are coming in. We just know that a color refresh is coming. So once retiring colors are announced, they will probably go very, very quickly. That's always the case. Colors are usually the first to go. So if there are colors that you absolutely love and you cannot live without, please, please, please make sure that you are getting those colors now. There are already ink pads on low inventory, so make sure that you are checking your supply of ink refills, cardstock, all of those, and you are shopping those. If you are shopping my online store, this is March's host code. Please use this host code if your order's under $150. If your order's over $150, you're going to receive those Stampin' benefits, those Stampin' rewards. All orders receive a PDF with 3 exclusive projects. If your order's over $50 or more, you're also going to receive a make and take kit for those 3 projects. You can make those along with me. Okay, this is the card that we are making today. And it is spectacular. This is a twist and pop card. So when you open it up, twist open and a panel pops out. Isn't that so much fun? So I'm going to show you that again. Pops out. It is so, so adorable. This is one of my favorite cards. I've made a few of these cards, and this is one of my favorites. I just love this style of card. It really makes you look like you're an engineering genius, and people like look at it, they're like, how is that even done? And you could just sit and play with this for hours. It is so much fun. So this is what we're going to make today, a twist and pop card. And it's not as hard as it looks. I promise you it looks way more intimidating than it actually is. It's going to impress all your friends. All right, if you are watching this on Facebook, please share this with your crafty friends. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. That really helps me out, and you never miss a video that way. All right, we're actually going to start with the entire mechanism on the card before we get to all the stamping and coloring and stuff. We're going to start with the mechanism for the entire card. So the card itself is just your regular card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and then you score it at 4 1/4. So that is completely normal. So that you should be very familiar with. It's just your regular card base. And you're going to need 2 other pieces. You're going to need a piece that is 8 inches by 2 3/4, and you're going to score every 2 inches. So score at 2, score at 4, and score at 6. And then you're going to accordion fold this piece. So like that, okay? Score it every 2 inches and then just accordion fold it. All right, give those lines a good burnish. Your bone folder is going to be your friend for this card because you need to make sure that you are burnishing those lines really well. Okay, so this is going to be the part that pops out. This is going to be this part right here. So this is going to pop out. Okay, so we're going to set this aside. Now we need to make the actual mechanism that's going to make that pop up. And so I have a piece here that is 2.5 by 5.5. And we're going to do some scoring on that. And I am just going to pull out my paper trimmer for this. It's not that big of a piece, so I think my paper trimmer will be just fine. And we're going to be marking some lines on it too. So let me grab a pencil. I'm going to mark some lines. Okay, so on the long side, on that 5.5 inch side, we're going to score it in half at 2 3/4. Just line it up on 2 3/4 and then score it. Okay, so there's that score line. We're going to turn it and score on this side at 1 1/4. So we're just scoring it in half right now. All right, now back on the 5.5 inch side, on the long side, we are going to mark it at 1 1/2 on each side. So you can do this with your little scoring blade if you want. I'm just going to use a pencil. So while it's on the little track, I'm just going to mark the top and the bottom at 1 1/2 inches. Okay, so you can see those little marks. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side. So 1 1/2, and on that track, I'm just going to mark each side at 1 1/2. Okay, so we have 4 little marks on our little mechanism here. Okay, so, oh, we do need to score one more thing. I was like, that's it for our paper trimmer, but that's not it. So we're going to score this diagonally from the top, the mark on the top left to the mark on the bottom right. So just line up those little marks into that the little scoring groove, and you're just going to score that. Now you're going to do the same exact thing with the opposite ones so the top right with the bottom left. And just line those up, and you're going to score that. So what you have, you should have your cardstock. It's scored this way, and then there's an X that goes through the middle. Okay, all right, I'm going to put my paper trimmer away, and I'm going to erase my little marks here. We don't need these anymore now that our thing is scored. Okay, all right, I'll put our pencil away, and we're going to fold on the score lines. I'm going to fold on the diagonal one, and this diagonal one, and I'm going to fold on, let's see, I'm going to fold on this one too. That middle score line is really just, we're going to use that as a guide. We are not going to score on that one. I'm going to fold my diagonal ones back the other way as well. The more that you break these fibers, the easier this is going to go together. We'll do this one backwards this way too. Okay, so you have your piece, and I know that this is probably a little confusing right now, but so you have this X that we have scored, and then you have the long horizontal one. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of push in on those horizontal ones, and it's going to form like a little house with legs. So you have this triangle at the top, and then you have the little house. So just go ahead and lay that flat and give that a good burnish. And this right here, this is going to be our little mechanism. And I'll unfold that and do that again so you can see that. Just want to get all of these lines nice and secure. So we have our little house. Okay, so let's unfold that. So what I did, we have those diagonal lines that create triangles, and I'm going to take my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm just going to kind of bring these together. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Bring these together. If you need to kind of push that line in, do that, and what you should end up with is a little triangle with 2 little legs on the bottom. So it looks like a teeny tiny little house. Okay, so this is our mechanism, and it doesn't matter which way you do it. So if I flip it over this way and fold it in that way, it doesn't matter which way you do it. Okay, all right, so this is our house. Now if these are touching, that's okay. If they're even overlapping slightly, that's okay too. You don't want them overlapping a lot. You want them to be able to kind of move back and forth. So as long as your little legs can move back and forth, you're in good shape. Okay, let's bring in our card base. So we have our little mechanism off to the side. We're gonna bring that in just a minute. I'm gonna bring in a ruler, and we are going to mark the center of this at 2 3/4. So you can use a ruler, you can use your paper trimmer for this too. I'm gonna mark it right on the score line at 2 3/4, and that's going to tell us where we need to do some gluing. Okay, so just right on the score line, just a little mark. All right, now I prefer to use my liquid glue for this. As long as you're careful with it. I mean, you don't want it to ooze out and make your entire card sticky, but the liquid glue gives you a teeny bit of wiggle room, which is very helpful. So I'm putting a nice layer of it on one side of my triangle. We're not putting any glue on this side yet. Just on one side of that triangle only. Do not put glue anywhere on the little legs. So keep it in the little triangle. And I'm going to line up the point of the triangle with that little mark we made. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn it this way because it's a little bit easier for me to do it this way. Turn it this way. And I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and straight. And we're going to put some glue on this side, on this triangle only. Do not put it on the little legs. And make sure you stay within that little border. And then we're just going to close the card. And give it a little press. And then what I like to do, I like to open it and lay the whole thing flat. This part flat. The whole mechanism is laid down flat. And then I just like to close the card like that. These score lines need to be lined up. So your score line on your mechanism and your score line on your card. That will help it out to make this whole thing work. All right, so that is it. So this is only adhered to the card with those little triangles. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Hope you can kind of see what that's doing now. So those little legs are still there, those little legs. They're not adhered down, and they will fold in when the card folds in. And then when you open it, those little legs fold out. Okay? So it's not complicated. There's a few little steps in it, but as long as you're taking those steps slowly, and if you need to go back and watch this again, you can. Only add glue to those triangles, and you're good. All right, now we're gonna kind of lay this out like this, and we're going to adhere our mechanism on here. So what I'm gonna do is oh, why isn't that folded in half correctly? Did I trim this wrong? Hold on, please. I tried to score this in advance. I was like, I'll save time. But look, I scored that incorrectly. So we're gonna have to get another piece. Okay, hold please. We gotta trim up another piece so that this can work correctly. I gotta grab a piece of cardstock and my paper trimmer. Okay, I cannot get cardstock out of my... Okay, let me grab my paper trimmer. Never a dull moment, huh? I thought I was so prepared, but I guess not. Okay, so this mechanism is 2 3/4 by 8. So we will trim off 1/2 inch down here to make it 8. All right, now we're going to score it every 2 inches. So at 2, 4, and 6. All right, that looks much better. Let's fold that up. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, put those away. Get our bone folder, get these nice and creased. Okay, let's bring back our whole card now. And I told you, I'm going to fold in half on here, so you have 2 panels on each side. And I'm going to line this up with the score line in the middle. So this is the one we didn't score. It's the one going through those triangles. I'm going to just hold it there in place. There's no adhesive on it yet. I'm going to hold it in place, and I'm going to open up one side, and then I'm going to fold back one panel. Now, where you put the glue is very important to adhere the pop-up mechanism. So that's why I'm holding everything nice and secure in place. And you can use washi tape or Post-it tape too to hold everything in place while you're doing the gluing if you're afraid you're going to move it. Just make sure that you're lined up in the center. That center score line is lined up in the center. And I like to open it completely and then just fold back on the left side. Now, on your little leg here, there's a little rectangle showing. So above the score line, we're going to add glue, and then only up to where that fold is for our little pop-up mechanism. So I'm going to try to hold this up. So I have only put glue just on like that top left corner. And then I'm going to open up this piece without moving anything else. And it is only going to adhere just in that little corner right there. All right. With it all held in place, we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to fold this one back. Now we adhered the top left, so this one we want to do the opposite. We want to do the bottom. So staying within the perimeter of that score line and just in that little rectangle there, that piece only. Okay, you can get some clothespins to hold this down, but that is the basis of our little pop-up card. Okay, so we're going to let this just sit and dry. So it is only glued here and here, so I'll even lift this up so you can see this is the little leg here. It is not glued to that bottom part, and then up here, the little leg here is not glued to the top. So top left, bottom right. All right, I hope that makes sense. I hope I have not thoroughly confused you yet. Okay, this should be dry now. We're just going to come right back to this. Now, the very first time you close this, the first couple times, you're going to need to give it some help. So just kind of put your fingers where those score lines are and just give it a little bit of encouragement to go that way. And then every time you do that, it'll just keep popping up. Isn't that fun? You could do this for hours. It's so much fun to do that, right? You can do that for hours. All right. So that is the basis of our card. That's the pop-up card. Once you have this done, you can decorate it any way you want. Okay. The important parts is just to get those score lines lined up and then just make sure that you are not adhering it where you're not supposed to. You're only putting glue just on the littlest part of those rectangles, and that's all that's holding this thing together. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to move on, and we're going to do all of our stamping and our die cutting and stuff. Isn't that cute? Oh my goodness, it's so cute. Now I've already done some of it in advance, so let me grab my little box of pieces here. So I have already cut and colored, stamped the two little rhinos that are going to go on the inside. So we're going to do the third one, but to save time, I've already done the two little ones on the inside. And I've already stamped our greeting for the outside, and we'll go over this in a minute. Oh, you know what? I wanted to do a different greeting, so we'll stamp that one again. And I have die cut all of my little pieces for my trees and stuff. So we're going to set all these aside because I've already done all of that work. Let me show you the bundle, the entire bundle. It is so stinking cute. This is the Rhino Ready Bundle. So this is available in our online exclusives. It is so, so cute. I just love this one. When I saw this one in the online exclusives, I was completely sold. Those little rhino images are so cute. And the greetings are so, so, so cute. So that is what we are making today. So let's start with our little rhino that's going to go on the outside. And I'm going to stamp him in black memento. We're going to color with some Stampin' Blends. So we need to stamp him in memento. And I'm going to stamp him down here. Maybe that'll leave us room for our greeting. If not, I'll get out another piece of paper. So, oh my goodness, look how cute he is. And he has got a little bird on his back. So cute. Now, if you don't want to color, stamp him on like smoky slate or gray granite or even like crumb cake, and then just die cut him. You don't have to do any coloring. All right, but we are going to do coloring because that's what we do. So I'm going to actually start with my little rhino. I'm going to use gray granite to color him. Now, my gray granite blends, especially my light one, it's on its last leg. I may have used it all to do all my little rhino coloring, so hopefully we have enough to get this little guy colored. I'm actually going to start with it's the SU100. This is in our light natural tones blends, and I'm going to give him a little rosy cheek. And I want to do this first because I want the gray granite to go over that little rosy cheek, and that's going to kind of dull down the cheek a little bit so it won't be so super pink. All right, I'm going to start with my dark. And around his little nose here, I'm going to give him some dark along the back of his back. We're going to do some dark down the back of his leg here on both sides. Excuse me, goodness. You know, I have no problem talking until the camera starts. His back legs, because they're going to be in the shadows, we're going to do like heavy dark on those. His little front leg here, we're going to do some dark, his little belly. So pretty much I'm just kind of going around the perimeter of the little rhino here with my dark. And we can always go back and add more. All right, now my light. Let's hope we have enough in here. Let's hope my marker will hang on. We're just going to go through and color him. And I'm going to go over circular motions where that dark marker is. And I want to just kind of pull that in and blend that out. So you can see it's already kind of going. I'm going to bring in my brush tip just to try to get a good base on here. And then we'll use the bullet tip to just kind of bring everything together. But I just want to get a good base of color on here. Even my brush tip is like, nope, sorry. So it's time to replace this one for sure. This color really needs replaced, but you know, I'm hesitant to purchase any new colors right now because what if gray granite goes? You know, then I have a marker that won't be a current color. So I'll just wait. The smoky slate would be a good alternative if you needed a gray marker to do this. And the gray granite's a really good color to have too. It's like a gray, but it's got some nice like brown undertones that I really like. So I really like it. Okay, I think we're there. I think we made it. Super cute. Isn't he cute? I love it. Okay, so while I have my light out, I'm just going to do a little bit on the horn right there, just the very front of the horn, and I'm going to come in with my color lifter. And I'm just going to kind of smooth that out a little bit just so it's not such a harsh line. All right, now I'm going to do my dark just for this little part of his horn. I don't really know what that is on a rhino. It's kind of just, you know, where the horn is, but I just made it dark brown. All right, now let's do our little bird. Our parakeet. Put our other markers aside. We're gonna do our little bird now. This is a Stampin' Right marker. This is from the Brights collection. Now you can see the difference in Stampin' Right markers and Stampin' Blends. The blends are an alcohol marker, and they are like rectangle square. This one is a water-based marker. You can see it's even longer, and it's round, and it's smaller. I am only pulling this out for the little bird's beak because it is such a small little area. This is Mango Melody, by the way. It is such a teeny tiny little beak that the Stampin' Blends, it just would have been too much. It would have been too big, and I would never have been able to get into that little spot. So I pulled out my Stampin' Right marker for that. Now for the little bird, I'm coloring him in Daffodil Delight. So I just did some dark along the bottom of the bird, and then we'll just add a little bit of light. There's not a lot of room to blend on here because he's such a tiny little bird. Okay, so that is our little rhino all colored. Isn't he cute? He's super cute. Okay, now the other part, we do need to do a little bit more coloring. And so I have already stamped these. I have mostly colored these just to save a little bit of time. So I have the little grass image from the stamp set. And I just stamped one on each side. And then I used my Parakeet Party to color it in. So I'm going to start with my dark, and just wherever, if there was grass overlapping, I did the dark. And then just if there was highlights drawn in by the artist, I did the dark. And then I just finished it all up with the light. So just go in and color those little blades of grass with the light. Okay, and that's all I did for the grass. All right, so that's all of our coloring. We need to cut this guy out. So we're gonna die cut him. I'm gonna use the Post-it tape to hold him down. Now I did already die cut all of the little extra pieces of trees and stuff, and so we'll talk about those when we get to those. But those were already all die cut. I need to pull in my cut and emboss machine. I didn't grab that. All right. So my cut and emboss machine. You can use the little mini machine too. These dies will fit in there. Look guys, brand new plates. So you need the plates 1 and 2, and then 2 plate 3s. I finally broke down, and we're gonna use some new plates. Brand new plates. Always exciting. Okay. Go, put this up. So I am not seeing any comments. So if there are comments being left, I'm so sorry, guys. I hope you guys are not asking a lot of questions. I always respond to comments after the lives. Sometimes Facebook decides they want to show me comments, and sometimes they decide they don't want to show me comments. So, so if you are leaving comments, be assured I will respond after. Isn't he adorable? He's just so cute. Okay, let's get back to our card here. Now, I have like a blue sky on here, so let's do our blue sky. So I told you guys these little anniversary cards were going to be a little bit more labor intensive. I think they're totally worth it though. All right, I have a piece of grid paper here, and then I have my Tahitian Tide ink with some a blending brush, and we are going to just add like a little sky. So I'm just going to go around the edge here and just kind of blend into the middle. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If there's a little bit of white space showing, that's okay. It's just going to add to that little sky texture. Around the edges though, I do want it to be a little darker. So I'm making sure that around the edges, I am covering that nicely. And then just kind of go into the middle. I don't want it completely blue, but just a little bit. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Now for all of my pieces for the inside, for all of my little pieces, I've done the same thing. They all have that same little ink blended background. So we're going to do that to our inside pieces. I've already done this to 3 of them, so we're going to do this to the 4th one. And I'll go over measurements of these little pieces in just a minute. So just real light with these pieces, not too dark. All right, that is it for our Tahitian Tide. We'll come back to it. We're going to do some more stamping with it. But let's pull out all our little pieces. So you have 4 pieces. These are going to go on all of those little panels on the inside. And they are basic white. They are 1 7/8 by 2 5/8. And then I've added a little, where's my adhesive? I've added a little strip of Parakeet Party glimmer paper that is 1 7/8 by 1/2 inch. So just a teeny tiny little piece. Use up your scraps for that. And these will be the 4 panels that go on the inside of our card. Super cute, right? Come on, camera, focus. Okay, so let's do just a little bit more stamping. We need to stamp our greetings. Now this one I went with like the encouragement greeting. It says, "You're stronger than you think." And then on the inside it says, "You're built tough." But I wanted to make this one a birthday card. So we're going to do, let's see, is this going to be big enough? Let's see, I think so. I have this piece of paper. I want to do a birthday one for this one. So we're going to do, "It's a great day." And we're just going to trim that out to the height of the words. And then on one of the panels on the inside, we're going to stamp the greeting. "Hope your birthday is wild." So we'll stamp that. Hopefully it's straight. Pretty good. "Hope your birthday is wild." And that is, I think, all of our stamping. So we'll put that aside. Okay. Isn't that cute? So we have our little panels. Now for the front too, I have a little piece of grass here. I need to trim this one. I want it to be 1/2 inch. About 1/2 inch. I tried it with the inch, and that's how I prepped it, but it was just too big. So we're going to trim this down to about 1/2 inch for these, for the front. So my front piece of paper, the white part, I didn't tell you the measurements of that. That was 5 by 3 3/4, and all of the measurements are in the video description, and they'll be on my blog, so you don't have to worry about that. And that's just going to go on the bottom. And this little glimmer grassy border, I think is just so much fun. It just adds so much. Okay, I think we're ready to start assembling. So let me pull out all of the little die cut pieces that I have. Now remember, these are all from the little dies, and these dies are super cute. They have these little tree dies, all these little leaf dies, and then they have all the little pieces for, like, there's the little party blower thing, there's the little bird you can die cut, and there's some extra leaves in those dies, so it's really, really cute. So out of Granny Apple Green and Parakeet Party, I've cut some leaf tops, some tree tops, and then I cut both sizes of the trunk. So we have kind of our bigger one, that's out of Crumb Cake, that's going to go on the front. Then we have a smaller one, and then our smaller tree topper one here. That's going to go on one of the inside panels. So we'll stick that, we'll adhere that on one of those. And then we're going to adhere a tree on the front. Now I also took these pieces. These are also little tree topper pieces. I used these. This is the same one that will go on the inside piece. And we're going to use these as clouds. I thought they they are going to work just fine as clouds. So I'm going to use my liquid glue to adhere these down. You could use glue dots or any other adhesive. You could even pop these up on dimensionals if you wanted. For the little clouds, I'm going to glue these on so they have time to dry, and then they're going to hang off, and we'll trim these. We'll trim off the little excess pieces there. All right, let's do our tree. Now I'm only adding glue to the trunk. You can cut these out on an adhesive sheet if you want, and that would actually make this easier to glue down. But otherwise, I'm just going to add glue to the very bottom of the trunk and just kind of tuck this under our glimmer paper, just like that. And for the tops of the leaves, we're going to use some dimensionals to hold everything down. So I'm going to start with my Granny Apple Green one. This is going to go in the back. So this is kind of like this little rhino is running across the savanna, and this tree is far off in the distance. So the grass is nice and tall by him because it's up closer, but the tree is very far off in the distance, so it's much smaller. I think just it adds lots of depth to your scene. Okay, now for this front one, this little, I'm just going to add a couple dimensionals right onto the card here, and I'm using mini dimensionals, and just kind of layer this one right on top, and then you get that nice little kind of two-toned. The little tree trunk tops are staying down, the leaves, my scissors, and then we'll just trim these off. These little extra pieces of clouds. And there you have your scene. Isn't it so cute? All right, let's work on our little inside tree. We're going to do that one the exact same way. I am only adding adhesive to the trunk part, and we'll adhere those branches down. And try to stick this under. There we go. That, and I'll put some dimensionals, put a couple in here. These little pieces are small, but they are totally worth it, and they make such an adorable little scene. So we'll just kind of put those over the little branches, and that'll hold it down. So we have a little tree for the inside. And then our other two panels, we'll put our two rhinos on, and I'm going to pull out some bigger dimensionals for those guys. So all three of our rhinos, actually the two on the inside, we'll just go on with glue. The inside's going to be bulky already, so you don't want to use dimensionals on the inside because there's already a lot of bulk in there with that mechanism. This card, speaking of that, this card you will need to add extra postage, maybe even mail it in a padded envelope. So just be aware of that. This is not going to be a card that the post office enjoys with one stamp. All right, now for our little rhino for the front, I need to move some stuff out of the way. For our little rhino in the front, we're going to put some dimensionals on him. So a couple on him. And where's our little card? Here he is. And we're just going to have him running across just like this. So cute. Isn't he cute? All right, let's bring in let me grab my little paper trimmer again, and we're just going to cut this little greeting just like that. You can use scissors, just trim it up. I'll just cut this with my scissors, trim that up a little bit, and we're going to add this with dimensionals as well. Let's pop this up. Oh, you know what? Let's cut this in half. Should have used mini ones for this one. Put those on, some dimensionals. And this greeting is shorter, so it's not going to overlap him the way the other one did. This one had to overlap him just a little bit because that greeting is a little bit longer. This one is not as long, so we're good with that one. Isn't that cute? All right, we have one more piece. We have a gray granite piece that is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and that's just going to go. The white piece is going to go on that, and it's just going to leave the littlest little 1/8 of an inch border. Okay. Perfect. This is going to make the sweetest little birthday card. All right, this one goes up on dimensionals. We're already using extra postage, so why not use extra dimensionals as well, right? So one more dimensional right there. I have dimensional backings all over my desk. I have not cared at all where I'm dropping these. Let's see, that one's already off. Let's see. Did I get them all? Yep. Okay. So grab your mechanism. This is going to go on the front. So just line that up. Just like that. Isn't that cute? Just card alone. I mean, you could just do this and that's adorable. But we're going to fancy it up. We're going to put up these all on the inside. So let's open this up. Now you don't have to do these in the same order. I'm going to do them in the same order because then I don't have to think about it. I really like the first card, so I'm going to do it in the same order. So we have one little hippo going over here in this little panel, and they will fit right in here with a little 1/8 of an inch border. If you want a bigger border of that Parakeet Party, just make these a little bit smaller. And then we're going to put the greeting on this piece, and I'm using my liquid glue again just so I can have a little bit of wiggle room on here, because this piece is not going to, it's not going to lay too flat right now, so it's easier to have that wiggle room to be able to move them around if you need to. Okay, and then we have this little hippo guy. I love this card because we were able to use all 3 of those hippos, and they fit in here so perfectly. It's like they were made for these little panels. Okay, and then our last one will be our little tree, just like this. Now you do want to make sure that whatever stamp set you're using, that nothing is covering those score lines there. You can go over the top and the bottom a little bit. You can, if you were doing like flowers or something, you can go over the top or the bottom a little bit, but you can't overlap the center, is what I'm saying. I guess, I hope that makes sense. My words, they're not coming to me. But isn't that cute? So this is all gonna fold together like that. Isn't that adorable? This little rhino. Okay, one more little finishing touch. I have these little, the opaque adhesive gems, and I'm gonna grab my Take Your Pick tool for this, and we're just gonna add a few of these to the front. I didn't do a whole lot of embellishments on this card because I think this card is already fancy enough and we don't need a lot, but I wanted to add just a few of these little white gems on here. And so I pulled those out, and these are fun. These are in the mini catalog, and they come in some really fun colors. Okay, that's it. We made it to the end. I think this video is probably like 85 minutes, but we made it to the end. This card is so cute. So we have our little encouragement card, and then we have our birthday card, both of which are so stinking cute. Now, if you need to go back and watch how that mechanism was done, rewind the video, go back and watch that part of it. And you can even kind of pause it, and all the measurements are in the video description or on my blog, so you can kind of see how that's working there. It's pretty fun, you guys. Anybody you give this to, they're going to be amazed at your engineering skills. I promise. It's such a fun card. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I will be back on Wednesday with another Facebook Live on my business page. I have a really cute box to share with you, and I'll be back next Sunday with another amazing card, I'm sure. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are shopping, please head to my online store. Use this host code for March, and I will see you guys in my next Facebook Live. Bye-bye.